I'd like to call the meeting to order. And if you could just take a moment of silence. Please rise for the flag salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
In accordance with the provisions of the Open Public Meeting Act, a public notice of this meeting has been sent to board members, all district schools, the Herald News, Suburban Trends, the Record, the Messenger, West Milford Town Hall, the County Superintendent's Office, the Board Attorney, Cablevision of Warwick, and West Milford TV 77, and posted in the Administration Building. Copies of the board meeting calendar resolution were provided to all local media, Town Hall, Township Library, and all district schools. Roll call, Mrs. Francisco?
Mrs. Romeo. Here. Mrs. Stevenson. Here. Mr. Conklin.
Here.
Mrs. Dwyer. Mr. Garino. Mrs. O'Brien.
Here.
Mrs. Lockwood.
Here.
Mr. Stillman. Mrs. Van Dyke.
Here. Dr. Animo?
Yes, good evening and welcome to our August meeting. Thank you all for coming. We have a treat for the board tonight and for the community and for anybody watching at home. It is most assuredly baseball season here in West Milford. We have a wonderful group of student athletes here tonight. We're going to honor them for having a wonderful season this past summer. In fact, their season probably just ended a short while ago. The Little League World Series that you see on television every night on ESPN, ABC, we were this close to getting there on TV. So congratulations to our boys. Congratulations to their coaches, parents, grandparents, friends, families, etc. I'm going to read a couple of our highlights this year, and then Mrs. Van Dyke and I will present them with a certificate. Mr. Novak will help me out with the names. So these are our 12U students. So mostly all 12-year-old, might be an 11-year-old mixed in there. But this group was the #1 seed going into bracket play for the North Division of District 2. They wound up being District 2 champions out of the top 8 teams in our district. They were Section 1 champions out of the top 4 teams from each district in Section 1, which is only the second time in West Milford history this has been accomplished. We were also the only team in the state to win the sections without a loss. We were a top 4 team in the entire state out of 230 teams that participated in the 12U All-Stars. We hit 11 home runs in 16 games and outscored our opponents 122 to 56. An absolutely remarkable number. So congratulations to everybody. Mr. Novak, can you give me a minute and then we have our certificates for you all. Parents, feel free to come up with a photo. We're going to bring the boys up one at a time.
Truman Kane, #2.
Congratulations. Where's your, somebody taking pictures? That point's in the way.
Bodie Hurl, #3. Ryan Alvarado, #7.
Congratulations. Turn this way,
Move away from the pole.
Yeah, let's,
Yeah, go in the middle.
Nathan Janeski, #8.
Congratulations.
Michael Perry, number 10.
Yeah.
Good. Alex Ricano, number 13.
Turn around and get a good picture.
Stephen Trebley, number 14.
Congratulations.
Blake Tyberzi, number 21.
Congratulations.
Oliver Worthing, number 27. Mason Leneve, number 32.
Congratulations. Oh, wow, and you're 12. Okay. I'm in trouble. Thank you. Congratulations.
Luke Havel, number 33.
Congratulations.
Daniel Burke, number 50.
Congratulations. Oh, here we go. Thank you.
Daniel Sanches, number 96.
Congratulations. Did they pull your birth certificate?
And manager Matt Leneve for his solo shot. And coaches Evan Worthing and Mike McKenna.
Thank you very much. We're looking forward to seeing you on the big diamond next year, 60-90, big jump. Yeah, a lot more fun. So congratulations again, and good luck the rest of the summer. Thank you. Yes. So next up, we invited Dr. Ross Haber from Ross Haber Associates to present. This past spring of 2022, the board contracted with Ross Haber Associates to come up with an enrollment projection and building utilization studies. He is here tonight to present that to the board and to the community.
Kevin, back to Williams. Never can pull it. While we're waiting for this to warm up, first of all, good evening, everybody. And for some of you may remember, it was about maybe 8 or 9 years ago, I had previously done a study for this district, and that was the very beginning of the enrollment decline in the district, which was heavily brought about by the Highlands Act, which kind of cut any future development. So at that particular point, there was some talk about closing one of the schools, but it was my feeling at that point it was way too early to make that kind of decision. The board has brought me back in light of the fact that enrollment has declined so significantly over the last few years. So I want to make a presentation of my findings and certainly then be open to questions from the board or anyone else. So we'll start off, first of all, with this. This is a 10-year overview, starting with the 2016-17 school year, which was the base year of this study. At that particular time, The enrollment in the district was 3,363 children, district-wide. Okay? The opening of school 2021, this past year, which was the end year of the historical projection, the enrollment was 3,051, which was a reduction of 312 students, which is, a rather large percentage for a small district. Going forward, and that was a 9.28% decrease. Going forward to the out year of the projection, which is 2026-27, which is the 5-year projection, the enrollment is projected to drop to 2,796, which is another 255 students. So over a 10-year period, the enrollment has actually dropped by more than 500 kids, and that is a very significant number. The rest of this shows numbers that exist in each of the elementary schools, middle schools, and the high school at this particular point. You can see Apshua dropped about 69 kids and is projected to drop about 12 more. Maple Road was 55 in that 5-year period, and it's going to drop about 7 more. Marshall Hill will drop 19, but will pick up a few students based upon historical projection. And Paradise Knoll lose about 20, Upper Greenwood Lake about 3, Westbrook about 4, the middle school about 170, and the high school 64. Now, the interesting thing is that while the enrollment is leveling out, but it doesn't indicate any kind of comeback in enrollment for several different reasons. Not the least, and I'll go to the next slide to maybe kind of bring it into context. Obviously, no new construction because of the Highlands Act, no large developments, okay? Nothing on property that doesn't exist as a residential property now. But if you take a look at what the census said about the community, over the course of the last 5 years, there's only been a very small change in population, only a drop of about 255 children, not children, 255 residents. And what's that telling me is that people are not leaving the community. So we're not seeing housing turnover. We're not seeing younger families coming in to replace, empty nesters or people moving out. It just does not appear to be happening. And that's further reinforced by the fact that over the last 5 years, the median age in the district, median being the middle point, 50% of the residents above, 50% of the residents below, has gone up almost 2 years. It's gone up 1.9 years, which is a significant jump because it's not indicating large birth rates. It's the fertility rates in the district in a community go down as the median age goes up, and that's what's happening here. The rest of it is just general demographic overview about changes in income, which has increased over the 5-year period, the increase in mean income, and then the general racial breakdown through the community, seeing what changes have occurred. The largest loss on a percentage basis is amongst the white community. Well, it's the largest loss numerically. It's not on a percentage basis, and other groups are growing in the community. So now this is going to be a little bit more difficult to see. Well, you should have that. This is the actual what we call the cohort enrollment, the cohort projection. And the first six rows are historical. Those are actual numbers. And the way, so what happens is, I'm just going to, do I have a pointer on here? Yes. Okay, good. All right, the way cohort projection works in 2 ways. Okay, kindergarten kids become first graders. First graders become second graders. And what we do is we track the growth or loss of kids as they move from grade to grade, and then we come up with an average of those 5 changes, and that gives us the multiplier that gives us our projections going forward here. Kindergarten is projected a little bit differently. The way kindergarten is projected is this column of births projects kindergartens 5 years later. So these 2016 kindergarten students were actually born in 2011. So we track a measurement between ratio of kids who were born and kids who actually enroll in kindergarten, and that's what we use. We average that out over a 6-year period, 6 kindergarten, first grade, and that becomes the multiplier for projections of kindergarten. So for example, this 2022-23 projection is based upon, kindergarten projection is based upon children born in 2017 and so forth and so on, and that's how we get that's how we get to the projections. So cohort survival is based upon the multipliers moving this way. Kindergarten is based upon births 5 years prior to children entering kindergarten. And what this again is showing that what the first table I presented indicated, and that was the significant drop in enrollment. And again, even though there's some indications of stability, there's no indication of reversal in the trend. So there may be, over a period of time, we may be stabilizing, but stabilizing where we are right now. So now let's go to the next slide. So some impact. So what we're looking at here is we're looking at the numbers, the capacity of the schools versus the number of children projected out 5 years. So I'm taking a look at what's going to happen 5 years from now and comparing it to capacity. So what we're looking at is, for example, Aptua has a rated capacity of 367, has 188 children in it, and the total number of classrooms in the building is 24. And I'm only, based on the utilization I did, I'm only showing one unused unassigned classroom. But that's deceptive. And it's deceptive because one of the advantages of a declining enrollment and an opening up of schools is that you wind up having classrooms available, many different kinds of programs, and places where you might have squeezed in kids before or had larger small groups, if that makes any sense, can go into much larger classrooms. The problem is, though, that so that's what's going on. So it doesn't mean that these buildings are being used fully to capacity. It means that your principals are using them to their greatest advantage. And that's certainly a positive. And by the way, you probably don't remember, most of you weren't even born when I came here last time. My background is education. I've been a school teacher, I've been a high school principal in my past life. So when I look at these things, I take a look at them from a point of view of an educator. It doesn't stop me from making sometimes painful recommendations, but the fact is I do understand that I'm dealing with children, I'm dealing with educational programs, which is why I look at this, the educator side, when he says, wow, I don't have to put kids, I've got all this open space to deal with, but that may not be as efficient or as economical as one might think. When I look at some of the, and again, there's the more detailed study. I'm looking at class sizes of 15, 14, 11, 16, and they're wonderful, but they're not efficient. I'm also looking at some grade levels that only have one section on a grade. And as a school principal, that would make me crazy because it gives me no options. So I think that the good side of this is the very small class sizes, having the additional space. The downside is it's not economical, it's not efficient, and it's not mostly educationally sound. Sometimes really small classes, they sound good, but they don't offer the kids as many opportunities. Of classes around 20, 21, 22. Those are kind of optimal class sizes. But throughout the district, the class sizes here are really low. So what I tried to do is make this presentation as short as possible so that we can get some questions. But let me just go up here. So can you all hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So I just want to read the conclusion. Okay. Oh, great. Thank you. So, President? Okay. So each of the elementary schools are currently below capacity. We took the capacity, by the way, for the district practices indicated in the long-range facility plan. One of the data forms I used was something called the long-range facility plan, which district has to file every 5 years. And in that plan, it indicates the number of classrooms, square footage of the classrooms, building capacities, and there's a state capacity and district practices capacity. I use the district practices capacity, which is a higher number and a better number than what the state uses. Okay, the district has low average class sizes, which while it's educational beneficial, it may not be the most efficient use of resources, both from both a faculty, a facility, and a staffing point of view. Okay, the majority of the classes in the school district in the school district have 2 classes per grade level. There are some schools with 3 on a grade level, and a few grade levels scattered among that show only 1 section on a grade level. And again, not the best option in the world for a school principal. Okay, the enrollment in the district, as I said, has continued to decline because of the Highlands Act. It It doesn't appear that there will be any significant new housing or housing developments built in West Milford in the foreseeable future. It also doesn't, because of the population shifts and some of the things I looked online in terms of home sales and what have sold over the years, that it doesn't appear that existing housing sales have offset the decline. Okay? They may do it a little bit going forward. Maybe that's a little bit why the leveling off is happening, but it's not shown any significant offset to the enrollment decline. And it's projected, and you look at the study, that at least 3 of the elementary schools will fall below 200 students by the 2026-27 school year. So from a point of view, we're not being critical of the educational delivery in this district, which seems really good, okay? These numbers tell a story and something that needs to change. So, what do we need to do what am I seeing going forward, okay? Okay, given the ongoing enrollment decline, it would be prudent for the board to consider repurposing one of the elementary schools and having 5 K-5 schools in September 2023, a year down the road. After reviewing the floor plans and the structure of each school building, it would be feasible to consider repurposing Westbrook Elementary School. This building could serve several purposes, including but not limited to expansion of special needs programs, location of program directors, and location of the child study team. Again, the way this building was not built as a standard elementary school. So it has more of an opportunity to be repurposed than any of the other schools. And also, Westbrook and Maple Road are 2 schools that are central to the community. They're not peripheral, so they're kind of the easiest to manage in any kind of change. Okay? In considering the reduction to 5 elementary schools, it's going to be necessary to examine the attendance zone and student locations to determine the least disruptive means of relocating students to a neighboring elementary school. So what we don't want to do is we want to torpedo kids out, cherry pick. We want to find clusters and way to move kids so they identify with the community. And based upon proposed amended attendance zones, an analysis of the impact on transportation can be assessed. Virtually every child in this district is transported. What we don't want to do is do something that creates increased costs for the school district. So we want to take a look at that whole bucket. 1, choice of a school to be closed. 2, what the attendance zones might look like to balance out the schools, to get the best bang for a buck in each of the school buildings, as many sections per grade level, that kind of thing. And again, what's the logistical impact, the impact on transportation. So that's an overview of what I've done over the last couple of months, and I'm more than happy to answer questions from the board.
Turn the lights.
We'll have copies, so.
Okay, I guess first we'll go to the board members, and then I think I'm going to open it up to, I think I'd like to open it up to the public. Debbie?
Where did you get the information for population, median age, median income, and median income?
U.S. Census, 2020 Census. All the data in that demographic section comes from the U.S. Census, the decennial report.
Any other questions? Courtney?
We got a full report. Dr. Haber, and in one of the things I read, you said it is projected that at least 3 of the elementary schools will fall below 200 students by the 2026-2020. Which 3 schools?
You said below 300?
It'd be Apshua, Apshawa, Paradise Knoll, and Upper Green UGL.
However, you also said in your report that in Hewitt, there was approximately 224 children under the age of 5. So wouldn't those be school-age children?
No. Pre-K are kept in certain categories. Not every pre-K child makes it into kindergarten. So they're counted as pre-K when they're actually registered in school. When they're not, we don't know really. We don't know really what's going to happen. One of the issues, remember I told you in doing the report, we do kindergarten projection based on births 5 years earlier? Well, we do a 6-year average. We do a 6-year average. We do that because we know not every kid born and attributed to a community is going to go to school. So those variances, okay, are for kids who may be pre-K kids, who may be 1 or 2 or 3 years old, but who may move, choose to go to a private school, those kinds of,
There is more population of school-age
Yeah.
children in Hewitt than
Yeah.
any other area of West Milford.
Okay.
Is that what your report was indicating?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Okay.
That's only
Just trying to
A small
understand.
share, yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. That'd be a heck of a thing if you shoot that.
I know, I was trying to figure out what I was reading. Thank you.
Is, any other questions from the board members?
I have more to say.
Yeah.
No, you go.
No, all right. So what I'm getting here is we're gonna potentially close Westbrook, right? And then possibly bring the Highlander Academy here. Is that
That's what the recommendation.
that's what's recommended? So how many students are in the Highlander Academy?
About 2 dozen.
So, all right, so we're gonna close this to bring 2 dozen here. Would you be able to expand the amount of kids that come?
So in our special education restructuring committees, we've had 2 meetings, and in both of those meetings, it has been discussed with the possibility to, whether it was Westbrook or any other building, that we could move our program into the school. One of the suggestions that has come up over the 2 committee meetings is that possibly we expand that program to middle school as well. Possibly having, another suggestion was possibly moving some of the high school programs into a building as well. But I feel like that still needs to be further flushed out or further discussed with that committee, looking at, I feel like that's we're still at the very early stages of that. Because we were really waiting for that committee that I've been working with, we were really waiting for this study to come through and then meet again and kind of discuss some of those at the next step.
I believe too that the committees still have to meet after this, because this is just presenting it to the public. It's going to be a decision by the board whether or not. Sure.
I just wanted to kind of dovetail on what Mr. Conklin's saying. Highlander Academy is currently in a leased area that's costing us about $100,000 a year. So we're looking at economic efficiencies due to the losses in state aid. And it's creating a problem for us to continue to pay that money. So that is another reason why we're looking to redistribute the student population.
I just want to go back to where I feel like we also need to understand that this is all being laid out and it's all part of the discussion. There is not going to be a vote tonight. We're going to continue to discuss it, but we feel that we need to be transparent with the public and understand what we're looking at. We are looking at financial constraints here because of loss of state aid and the fact that 15 in a class is not, when the state looks at you, that's not feasible. It's you can't say on one hand you need more money, but you only have 15 kids in a class. So we're realistically looking at it. I think some of the reasoning that this building's coming into play is because of the campus, because we're on the campus of the high school and the middle school. So that's where it's coming in, I would say, right, Mr. Haber, because of where we're located too.
I'm sorry?
Where this building is.
Yeah, absolutely. It makes the most sense.
And the fact that it isn't like the rest of the other elementary buildings. I'll go to Ray and then I'll come to you, Kate.
So I know a number of years ago, they talked about the whole idea of possibly closing the school, and that didn't happen. And now we look at it, things are different because we've basically moved a whole elementary school into Macapin now, right? I mean, your numbers kind of show that Macapin, I think, went up to 700 and something from 550. So just doing the math, it's about the number of an elementary school. So I get it. But back to you, where I know $100,000. The whole idea is we need to save money. So how much, like what additional dollars are we going to save besides moving Highlander Academy? Is there a general sense?
I think that's part of the work from this point forward. So I think step one was to have Dr. Haber present to the board, to the community. We plan on posting his presentations tomorrow on our website where the district restructuring minutes and agendas are. So getting that out to the whole community. We wanted to do this tonight to give everybody a chance to sink their teeth into it. Of course, it's a recommendation, it's not binding, we still have work to do. The plan is to continue to do that work September, October, and hopefully have a final recommendation to the board prior to the end of the calendar year.
Okay.
November, December. So it'd be hard to give an exact number, but there is work to be done.
That's why I said general sense.
Yeah.
We know $100,000, obviously the school will probably close sooner than most of the others where they're open till later on in the night and so forth. So there's some energy savings, and you're probably not going to use the entire school. Maybe you can repurpose other areas of the school for other things.
So it's been, the subcommittee meeting started out, I think we announced it to be very broad discussions because we didn't know which direction we were going to go in. And we discussed a lot of different options. There was really there's a lot of brainstorming, I guess, to start. Yeah. And now we're kind of getting further in the process. The focus is becoming more on, repurposing Westbrook School. So I think that gives us a starting point for the next subcommittee meetings to dig a little deeper into this recommendation.
I think that also there's a third component. Dr. Haber has done the enrollments projections, and he's done the building utilization. And now you need to look at transportation, and that's on the agenda for the board to consider approving him to do the transportation study. And that goes along with what Mr. Gottlieb had said in our initial transportation meeting, that there's programs out there that can redistribute our population based upon where the students are. And that's basically the third component of decision-making process.
I think one of the reasons for going with Mr. Haber on that, I think having lived through redistricting once, I think that having an outside third party takes away any, like, this is my neighborhood or this is my friend, because that's what a lot of happened in redistricting last time. The lines were a little odd. So I myself feel that if that's the route we're going to go, we need to definitely have a third party handling that. Kate, go ahead, you had your hand up.
So I have a few questions. That was one of them. Thank you, Barbara, I guess, for covering that. I believe that's number 4 under operations and finance for $9,000 to do a redistricting study. So in that study, Dr. Haber, you would be telling us, in your professional opinion, which neighborhoods should go to which elementary school.
Yeah, so I'll be providing the data to make a good decision. I'll be providing maps and different options and different, And I think that, assuming that we go with this, I'd like to get started on it almost immediately so that when you guys are ready to make a final decision, you have all of the data, including that. Nothing is hung out. Make a decision on the school, make a decision on the attendance zones, gotten input from the community, which is incredibly important in this process. Have met a couple of times and going into that with full knowledge of what you do. And again, I as an outsider, it's like what is it, like a horse in this race? I run out of expressions at this point. It's not whatever, it's okay.
No skin in the game.
No skin in the game, thank you. Better.
My next question is, do you ever, for districts, look at the financial savings and tell them, if it was Westbrook, you would save this much and here's why. But if it was Alachua, you would save this much and here's why. Or is that something?
Well, the areas, by definition, okay? By definition, if there's a cost factor in terms of transportation plus or minus, I can say you're going to have to transfer X more students at this cost per student. The other areas that might come to my bailiwick in terms of estimates are staffing costs. Okay, is there going to be a reduction in staff? Is there going to be an increase in staff? Is the staff going to remain the same? So, and I don't know because I haven't done it yet. So it's in the broad sense. In terms of aid, when I present these numbers, that becomes Barbara's bailiwick. In terms of what if any kind of costs are going to be in repurposing a building. Okay, that's something that we talk, if that's necessary, we talk about with the architects. We talk about with those that have an inclination as to what the cost would be. In terms of a dollar for dollar tax increase or tax decrease or whatever, that would be beyond my capability.
And in your report, it has Westbrook, and to quote you a few minutes ago, you just said it makes the most sense. I've heard many community members say that Apshawa would make the most sense because it is closest to the highway. And so if we were going to put our alternative 6 through 12 school into a building and possibly bring in some revenue, having it closer to Canelon and Morris County and some other things, that would be a better option. Whereas I think everyone's very stuck on it being here because it's on the campus. Can you discuss maybe why in your report it says Westbrook and not Apshawa or another building?
Well, just addressing a couple of things you said. First, it's three obvious, or the two obvious. It is central. You've got Macoupin High School, and it's located, so it could open up the programs more readily to those particular schools. Number two, taking any group of children from this area to Apshawa would increase transportation. Would be further distance. Okay. The third thing, in terms of addressing the issue of being able to open up programs to neighboring school districts, that could be very beneficial to you financially, and it could be very beneficial educationally to those districts. And arranging transportation is there done. So if Kenon has to travel an extra 10 miles, I don't even know what it is, but extra 10 miles, that's their dime, not yours. That's just reality. And again, going back to the other thing, just the structure of the school building really lends itself, or the structure of other schools, like Maple Road, whatever, lends itself more to a standard elementary school than this building does. So it's not, and listen, I got to tell you, everybody loves this school, and I know there are people who love this school and don't want that to happen. I feel for that. There's no fun, there's no pleasure in doing something like this. I mean, I remember some of the pain of some of the recommendations we talked about years ago, and we didn't have to do it then, but I think at this particular point, the board has no choice.
Well, I mean, personally, I have a lot of horses in the game. I have a family member at every elementary school, as you all know, and you will always hear that from me. So this hurts someone in my own life and obviously our community. I just want to understand, why it's one and not another, and I want to know why it was your professional opinion, and I want to be sure that it wasn't the opinion of someone else, that it's yours and why it's yours. That's what I'm just trying to get at.
Listen, the recommendations come from me based on data, and based on observation, and based on experience. So.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions? Courtney?
I have some things to say. Tonight, I have a heavy heart. Westbrook is a family, as all of our elementary schools are in West Milford. I'm disappointed in our administration for knowing the state funding would be less and less each year and not doing more for our community to prepare us. I'm sad for our children, specifically the rising second, third, and fourth graders. These students have experienced the trauma of a pandemic and everything that went with that. Yet tonight we are listening to the recommendation to close one of our schools. This will give these children more trauma to experience in their young lives. You will tell me kids are resilient, they'll be okay, and maybe that's true. But you know who's not resilient anymore? Moms. Moms can't take much more. Moms who have lost loved ones over the past 2.5 years can't handle another loss. Moms who have lost their jobs can't handle another punch. Moms who had a baby on their hip and a toddler at their feet while working virtually can't handle one more thing. Moms who are managing their households, jobs, and helping their children navigate virtually don't want another change. Moms have relied on their child's elementary schools to be a safe place, a constant, a community. And you are all recommending to take that away from them. Tonight, I ask these moms to start making some noise, to stand up, to speak up, to tug at these board members' heartstrings. This administration has known for 6 years that their state funding would be decreasing. They could have redistricted many years ago. They could have moved board offices into other school buildings. Now that the 6th grade is at Mappapin, the elementary schools have room for the superintendent, business administrator, and secretaries. The director of education could have an office at the high school. The director of special education could be at Marshall Hill or Maple Road School, where many of her special classes run out of. The board office could have been turned into Highlander Academy for its 10 to 15 to 2 dozen students. The transportation supervisor, dispatcher, and secretaries could be working out of one of the school buildings. The drivers could have the main trailer. We don't need to spend more money on buildings. These are just my ideas, not those of the board or administration. Whenever a board member, like myself, has tried to make a suggestion, we are told we do not run the school district. We are merely here for policy procedure and evaluating the superintendent. My ideas are my own, but they are not that abstract. However, they make the administration uncomfortable because that would mean they would have to move. If after all that, it was still fiscally responsible to close a school, then no kindergartner, including my own, should be starting at a school that is on the chopping block. If we are doing this right, it would be done over a 6-year period with no kindergartners starting at the school, then no first graders, and so on. If the administration had forethought, some of this transition could have been done during COVID, which probably would have softened the impact of a school closing. However, none of that has been discussed. What has been discussed in the restructuring committees is to redistrict and close an elementary school all at once. How do we do what is fiscally responsible without destroying a school community? That is the question that I am not sure how to answer. But it is time for this community to voice their concerns. Whether your neighborhood school was recommended by Dr. Haber or not, you need to be asking, what will happen to your favorite teachers or principal? Where will your children go? How many children will be in your child's next classroom? How many are in there this year? What about your older children coming back to their elementary school? If a school is closed, there can no longer be a senior walkthrough in any elementary school. Is closing one elementary school even enough to save the 2022-2023 budget? If a school is not closed, then what should be cut? Tonight, I wanted to walk out and resign from this position. I am so upset with how this is being handled. I have lost sleep and worried nonstop. It's just all too much for somebody who's just a volunteer. And then I remembered why I wanted to join the Board of Ed in the first place. I wanted to be here for this community. I am here because you voted me in. And you voted me in because I said I would never vote to close an elementary school. I stand by my word, even though it would be much more comfortable to sit in the audience with all of you. I am here on this side, and I can guarantee that I will be your voice when it comes down to the vote. Now it is your turn to start making some noise.
Anyone else have anything they want to ask or say?
Ms. Van Dyke, I would just like to clarify one piece. Ms. Stevenson, I respect what you're saying, and I'm not going to debate or have a conversation about some of the points that you made, but I do feel that for the public, it's important to at least clarify that the 26 students that are at Highlander Academy have social and emotional disabilities, and the county would never approve those students being placed in a board office building. Those students have value, and the county special education department would never approve for them to be in an office building. They have to be placed in a school. The reason why Queen of Peace was approved with the county, which was prior to me getting here, but took a lot of going back and forth and modifications, is because it was a building that was utilized for a school prior, but you would not be able to just put them in another building.
Kate?
At our county, I should say, the same county.
You have something?
I think, just to clarify, I took what Courtney was saying as you could have saved money in other ways, and she was giving ideas. So of all the things, the first thing I want to say is thanks for not resigning. And I guess right now that's really it, but I didn't take exactly what she said, how you did, Liz. I think she's just saying there's other options, there's other ways. And
We're not going to have a debate.
But I'm not, I just want to say, I didn't take it in a bad way. I just want to make sure that the public knows that we can't put those students in an office building. I don't want that to come up in any of the committees thinking that that's an option.
That's not what this meeting is for. This meeting is to get some of these ideas out here. No decisions have been made. No one wants to do anything that's going to change the lives of these young people. And I understand that maybe there were things that should have been looked at prior. However, I think that the community, and not that it was said verbally, but in some people's mind, once we moved the sixth graders, unfortunately, COVID hit. And I think that would have been the next conversation. I'm not speaking for them, I'm speaking for myself as a board member. I thought that was going to be the next place where we went. However, 3 years later, we're not there because of the world. I totally understand being a mom and exactly what you said. And unfortunately here, we have to make hard decisions that none of us want to make. And you're right, we're not paid, we're volunteers. We're doing it because we care about the community that we're in. And I totally sympathize. And I don't want to do it to anyone. But I also feel the financial push. And I actually, if I could not make this decision, if we could not make this decision, I would be the first one that would get on that train and say, let's do it. But please don't feel that any person that's sitting around this table is taking one student or child for granted, or like saying they don't matter, because they do. And we all feel that way. I'm a grandma. I worry about my babies every day and wherever they are. So I don't want you to feel you're alone, but also know that we feel, I can't speak for each one, but I feel that unfortunately this is a decision that we have to make, not one that is one that we're pushing because we think this will be great. I don't think anybody sitting here thinks this is like the best option West Milford has, because none of us want to impact the lives.
Jump in?
Sure.
No, you're speaking on behalf of the board, on behalf of the administration. This is not, we've lost sleep too. This is not what we want to do. This is not what our passion is. My passion is curriculum. As you know, I enjoy reading it. I used to enjoy writing it, many jobs ago. McQuaid's passion is special education. Mr. Novak, obviously curriculum, assessment. We all have our things that we enjoy doing. This is not what we enjoy doing. But it's our duty to look at this. And it's an important sense that, the concept of duty is what we have to do, even if we don't want to do it. And you're not the only person who's lost sleep over this. So we are here because we have to be here, and we have to discuss this and eventually make a decision. So I'm a parent too. I have 4 children, and I empathize with you. I empathize with everybody. This process is not yet complete. We still have work to do. It's not where we want to be, but it's where we are. And, we will get this job done, and it won't be to everybody's liking, but we will do our duty.
There aren't any more comments from the board. If the board is okay, I think I would like to open up the public comment only for this topic.
I'm totally good with it.
Okay. So, do I need a motion? I would keep it to 5 minutes because that's necessary. Excuse me.
Sure. Let's make a motion.
Okay.
So I'd like to make a motion to allow public comments.
On the topic of school closing or reorganization.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, anyone wishing to speak on the topic of the school closing? Come forward.
Well, Seidowitz, 1953 McApin. So, first and foremost, thank you, Mr. Haber. I've known over the years you've done quite a job at preparing all the information that the board needed in 2008, 2009, 2010, 2011, 2012. So if you're sitting at this table right now, you are a part of the reason why things didn't move forward. If you're a parent, it's also part of everybody's responsibility to have known that we had state aid cuts that were detrimental, that were going to affect future generations. Once a school is chosen to close down, that doesn't solve the problem, and that doesn't end the woes. Then you're going to end up losing talented teachers. That's the next step. So instead of thinking along the lines of, are we going to create this newer program or renovate a program that's in existence to build it up to make up for the state aid loss? Probably not. Numerically, that's not going to work either. The blaming of the pandemic, as unfortunate as everything was, that really, to me, doesn't make sense. I don't know if it does for anybody else, because it seems like you can walk and chew gum at the same time. And it's really sad to see that everything has to move at a fast clip to restructure the district. It really is sad, and that's not to blame the administration. That's unfair. It's not just their fault. It's everybody's fault. I sat in that table. I'm at fault too. You know, we're all accountable in this, and it's a matter of making the right decisions, approving things like operations and finance number 4, and continuing that process. And to point fingers at this stage and to say we need to raise our voices and fight back, what are you fighting against? That time is coming fast. And I respect everybody's position here, but think forward, work together. You want to fight for something? Fight for making the best change and contributing to making that best change. I hope that you can fight through the heartstrings being tugged, and the practical solution is the result. So with that, God bless you guys. Thank you for what you do. It's not easy. So,
Thank you.
I'm gonna fill this out over here.
Anyone else wishing to speak? Mr. Gottlieb?
Wayne Gottlieb, 20 South Richfield Road. I'm going to join the short parade of former school board members coming up here to strongly urge you to vote for item number 4 under budget and finance. I would take issue with a couple of things that have been said, though. As regards our loss of school-age population, I don't blame that on the Highlands Act at all. When I was on the board, we had 4,566 kids here, I think was the high water mark. I know that because I just got around a few months ago to pulping all of the board materials that I was holding in my house after 10 years. And when you guys quit, there's a really good outfit in Parsippany that will do that at a reasonable price. So it was 4,566. Now that number, the Highlands Act was in effect then. And we had a third or a half, 50% more kids in this district than we do now. As someone who worked in commercial site location for retail and baking locations. What happened was that people of childbearing age just decided they didn't want to live in a place like West Milford. They didn't want to be ex-urban and they didn't want the Black Bears. If you think we have it bad, look at Sussex County. They were decimated for the same reason. And that behavior may change in the future. Childbearing age parents may come back here. We may go back up to 4,500. But what Dr. Haber is telling us is it's not going to be too soon when that flips. Second thing is, if you approach this as an analytical problem, which it is, and back when my hair was dark and there was more of it, I actually studied the way you solve these problems, and it's using something called linear or integer programming. What that does, Ms. Romeo, because you were asking a good question, is try to optimize the solution given the constraints that you have. So in our case, what we're dealing with is the cost of educating kids and then the cost of transporting kids. And what our best solution is just on a quantitative basis without putting in human factors, will have the lowest total cost of educating and transporting. So I worked as a professional analyst for many years. I'm not going to tell you the answer before I do the work. That's not what analysis is about. So the beauty of analysis, though, using the kind of tools that we have, and Dr. Haber, I saw you saw me talking to him before, can employ here is you can run various scenarios. You can simulate things. You say some people want to see Aptua, used by people in Kinnelon. Okay, you can say that'll be the one we close. Let's see what happens. And then you're going to find out the total cost of educating and transporting kids if that building is closed. If you say, let's repurpose this building, and Maple Road is a mile at the end of my finger there, so it's not a big deal. You run another scenario, that tells you what the total cost of educating and transporting kids if this building is repurposed. So once you get those quantitative values, you can then say, okay, let's now mix in the human impacts here. And I think if you do that, you're going to get to the best solution you can get. I agree with President Van Dyke. You guys swore an oath to support the state constitution. That constitution says we're going to have a thorough and efficient system of free public schools in this state. So thorough and efficient, T&E has got to be the way that it is. And the Commissioner of Education is going to say, okay, you guys say you're trying, but you still have 15 kids in a class. As President Van Dyke said, that ain't going to fly. Now, Brother Brown tells me before the meeting, and it's on your agenda, you're trying to get $2 million and change of what we might call emergency supplemental aid from the state. My former counselor tells me you probably get that. You get that once. Can you go back to the well multiple times if you're not showing some movement in the right direction?
Probably not. There also has to be money available at that time. There's only money available now. And you can't promise you that you'll get all of it or any of it. If it's out there,
We can't count on
So
that.
the bottom line here is you are where you are. Don't be blaming the administration for this. Dr. Hanneman did not drive child age-bearing parents out of this town. They left because of whatever reason. They just didn't want to be here. They wanted to be closer to the action. So you got to do what you got to do. And
Thank you.
my experience with two-step kids is kids are very resilient. In the normal progression of going to school, you go from 6 to 8.
I got to kind of stop you, okay? But thank you.
I look for,
Thank
go
you.
for it.
Anyone else wishing to speak?
Monica Church, Beach Haven Road in Hewitt. At this point, we're out of time. I don't really give a crap if whose fault it was, why are we here, it can happen, who cares? A change needs to happen. I know it sucks thinking about closing a school, and but letting emotional ties keep us from moving forward is not going to help our district. So keeping a small subset of parents happy for their kindergartner, I get that emotional tie. My kids got screwed out of field day. My 6th grader, I felt like she grew up in 3 months because of the pandemic. But in terms of doing that, keeping a small subset of parents happy is going to screw over our high schoolers. Because limited funds means limited programs, and those older kids are just going to leave, go to other schools. PCTI, we all know, that's all over there. So I'm just sick of the pointing and the blame calling, and this should have happened here. COVID screwed up all of us. My own job, I don't even work in education, everything got screwed up. So we got to get over it, move on. I don't think closing a school will be the only solution, or repurposing. Other stuff will have to be done, and it sucks. It totally sucks. But, and I'll be honest, I personally have no part in the game at this point, so maybe I feel differently. But at the same time, when I look back, are colleges looking at my kids' elementary career, or they're looking at their high school? When my kids get older, they're going to look back at their years of elementary, yes, to a point, but they're really looking more about their high school experience, their middle school, and you think back of what made you grow. Obviously, it's everything, but going on and on about kindergartners, we have to have a 6-year transition period. That's ridiculous. But we have to make a change. We're out of time. Warwick, Vernon, they've all closed school. My mother-in-law went to Hillcrest. She's fine. Drive me nuts, but she's fine. But it happens. So please just move forward. I'm on the restructuring. I'm on one of the committees. Join those committees if you can when there is an option. I think not enough parents come out here, but I've been part of those meetings, and parents speak up. Teachers speak up, which is awesome. The teachers are there giving their opinion. They're really involved. All the board members are on these committees. And I know every single board member here, even though I might not agree with them, I know they care, and that's why they're here. But we have no choice anymore, or we're out of time. Thank you.
Thank you. I think one of the things that I want to say about the committees is one of the reasons that the administration and the board put the committees together is to give everybody a chance to give their input. Because, you know, it's going to be something that's going to make a major impact in our district. And I think that everybody sitting around here, and clearly the people that are sitting in the audience, know that this is a decision that has been thrust upon us, not something that we're just pulling out of the sky. It's been in the talks and everything else. And I do appreciate everybody's opinion, and we appreciate the fact that people are coming out to the committees. Anyone else wishing to speak? If not, I need a motion to close.
Make a motion to close. Would this be public comment, or would this be?
This is the first public comment.
Okay, the first public comments.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Well, to be clear, that's not the first public comment.
It's how about special public comment?
Thank you.
Okay.
Let's put special.
Thank you.
I like special. Moving on to the Director of Education, Mr. Novak. Thank you, Mr. Haber. I'm sorry, I should have done that. I apologize.
Thank you all.
Dr.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you guys.
Yeah, I think we will see you again. Thank you.
You notice I shifted my chair a little bit on the district thing. It's going to be...
Have a good night. I'm sorry.
That's right. Thank you. I should have requested to do this before the presentation. A little shifting gears now. So I did not prepare a PowerPoint for a single slide that we would have rather than shift everyone around. But I did share a page with all of you and it is available for the public by our agendas. The high school's AP score results last year. This particular slide will also be included in our October testing presentation when we present on NJSLA and some of our other data points. But I did want to point out that our percentage of total AP students with scores of 3 or above went up about 11%. We saw a pandemic low with, and the conversation tonight is not to blame the pandemic, but we did see during the hybrid year, our students' AP scores was lower than they are traditionally. It's nice to see that we've bounced back and that our percentage of students are performing and passing the AP exam is around our traditional numbers. So that was a positive. Again, I'll have a more in-depth part of this presentation when we do our testing, and this will be part of the slides when we talk about NJSLA at our October meeting.
Before you go on, I do have questions on that. How many AP classes are offered at the high school?
We offered 23, and I don't have the program of studies available. I believe that's.
And in those 23, are you including, capstone and research? Is that included in the 23?
No, I don't believe so. But it exists on our.
It's in our program of studies.
It's in our program of studies, but it's not a currently running program.
Here we go. We cannot even discuss anything about this district and how our numbers, and I say this every year, and this is so important, there are 37 possible AP courses. If we're offering 23, that's not a good number when you get in the U.S. News and World Report, I'm sorry, but we need to offer as many as we possibly have. I know we have 2 teachers at the high school that went through the training for AP Research and AP Capstone, and I know that class isn't always a popular, because it's a very high-level student that takes that class. So sometimes, in some schools, run it with 3 or 4 students. But what that does then for their school number, and when people are looking to buy a home and they see, oh my gosh, West Milford, look, they used to be this number, and all of a sudden in New Jersey, now they're such a better school. Why? Because they're offering more AP classes. It's part of the formula. Please, please, please offer as many as you possibly can every year. It matters down to the bottom dollar, down to how we're graded, when your kids are looking for college, when you're everything. It matters for every student in our whole district. How many AP classes we offer. And every school counselor and every teacher, you can crucify me for this later, let every kid that wants to take them, take them. Don't say, oh, you didn't get, above a 90 or whatever. The more students that we have take them, again, the better it is in our school formula, the higher number we'll have when U.S. News Report and everybody else reports where schools are on the ranking, we will move up the leaderboard. Sorry, I'm going to say it every time I can get a plug in there. AP courses matter for everything in our district. Thank you.
Go ahead, Dan, I'm sorry.
Sorry. Next item, I was just going to comment on our.
I'm sorry, Greg, go ahead. I
Yeah.
didn't see that.
So I know that this has been brought up before, but I think that maybe an opportunity we have is that combination of AP and honors. I think that it might have been Will that brought that up even many years ago.
Steve Drew, God rest his soul.
Steve, yeah. It does make sense because, again, declining enrollment, I'm looking at the number of AP students we had. Maybe there's opportunity for, if AP honors, if that was basically the same class, it would give the student the opportunity to take the AP test or not take the AP test if they chose to, right? It also might increase the class size. It might not for capstone, which is 3 students, but if we have AP chemistry and honors chemistry, just as an example, and if there's 5 AP chemistry students and 6 honors chemistry students, maybe that can be a class that's together. I don't know, I guess chemistry's on my mind, right? Because we'll see, we'll talk about that later.
Yes, we will.
So I just trying to find ways to kind of make it.
It's hard to run single-digit classroom classes. It's financially.
And again, you think about teachers. I'm just thinking about those.
Well, you're saying combined, so the number's a little higher.
And then the student doesn't have to take an AP test, right? You have no choice.
We encourage them
to. Don't have to do that.
Right. I can, at our next committee, I can bring back all of the research that we did. So this question has come up many times about why we don't currently offer concurrent honors and AP classes in the same.
And I think what you're doing to offer the college classes, right? Like you've started that, and I think that'll probably continue to take off and grow as we get the teachers that are get certified to teach those college level classes. Nice. How many we have now?
4 for the dual enrollment.
Well, yeah, dual enrollment with Lee
For
Foundation.
about 12 weeks, so I don't have my.
Yeah, so like, right, so those are good
program
things.
studies in.
So,
They work hand in glove. I think the AP is for one student, maybe dual enrollments for a different student.
right.
Some students may do both,
That's right.
but if you could hit multiple groups,
Yep.
and the open enrollment thing, I think Kevin, you meant, Kate, when you're saying let anyone in, it's just an open enrollment program for AP.
Yeah, look, teachers don't love that. You know, it's difficult. You have to really be able to differentiate the instruction. You really have to know, but these are high-level teachers. These are high-level students. But you open it up to some, average students possibly, or above average students, rather than just the elite is AP in West Milford. I've worked in a district, I will not say where, but AP did not mean advanced placement. Our superintendent came in and said it means all people, and every student will go into AP classes. And then the next year, we were all over everywhere. We were blue ribbon school, we were this, we were that. Our numbers went crazy. Yeah, it doesn't make people 100% happy. But in the end, what it does for us as a whole community is amazing. And we have the opportunity to do those things. We always hold back, and look, we're starting with a whole lot of new teachers, looks like, especially in our science department. So you might as well bring them in starting right off the bat. This is how we run it here. Our honors and our AP classes are going to be together. Why? Because it's going to be best for our entire community. It's going to be best for our end school score, So, but yeah, it does. It requires, it's hard work, but this is our job. This is why we're here. All of us are doing hard work for no paycheck right now, the 9 of us on this board, But these are not Kate Romeo's ideas. I've seen this done. You look through the school formulas, the numbers of how they're calculating what are the best high schools, how to get awards and glow, and we need to glow. So,
Thank you. Dan?
thanks, Dan.
Next ed committee, I'll talk about it.
I didn't plan on hearing that. I forgot who was doing it, so thank you.
All right, next one was announcement. Our kindergarten summer experiences are almost wrapped up. I believe we still have Maple Road is the last one that hasn't run yet. I know our principals and teachers are excited to have all of our students back in the schools and getting ready to open in September. And another, I guess since our last meeting, we hadn't completed our summer programs. I know our ESY and summer reading programs were tremendously successful this year. Summer reading culminated with a parent night, which was very well attended for a night in August. We had about 100 families represented from the program with the 2 different sessions. So I want to take an opportunity to say thank you to the families who cared about education enough to participate in our summer programs. Thank you to the staff members who gave up their summer and participated and treated every day over the summer like it was the middle of September. You didn't skip a beat when you walked into all these programs. It was business as usual, and school and academics alive and well. So just want to say thank you and tip my hat to everyone involved in executing those programs.
Thank you. Special reports and correspondence, Mrs. Francisco.
Yes, we have the board minutes from the July 19th meeting, regular meeting and executive session.
I need a motion to accept the...
I make a motion to approve the following Board of Education meeting minutes, July 19th, 2022, workshop regular meeting, July 19th, 2022, executive session.
I need a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? President's report. Tonight, I'm not going to have a president's report. I think most of what I probably would have talked about has already come out here. So I think we'll just move right to public comment. This portion of the meeting is open to members of the public for the purpose of addressing resolutions on this agenda only. Members of the public who have requested to speak prior to the meeting will be recognized by the chair first. Each speaker will be given 5 minutes for a period of 30 minutes. Each speaker will be given 5 minutes for a period of 30 minutes, and then time permitting, other public comment limited to 5 minutes per speaker will be allowed. until the 30-minute time period transpires. All members of the public speaking during the public comment period are asked to address the topics listed in the agenda. All speakers are asked to sign the register provided and give their full name spelled, their last name, group affiliation if appropriate, and provide their address. Issues raised by members of the public may or may not be responded to by the board. All comments will be considered and a response will be forthcoming if and when appropriate. The board asks that members of the public be courteous and respectful of the rights of other individuals when speaking. Specifically, comments regarding students and employees of the board are discouraged. The board and the administration will not respond to them. Students and employees have specific legal rights afforded to them by the laws of New Jersey. The board is not responsible and is not liable for any comments made by members of the public. Members of the public should consider their comments in the light of legal rights of those affected or identified in their comment. Members of the public are reminded that they are legally responsible and liable for their comment. Anyone wishing to speak? Will?
No, I just spoke.
Okay, Steph?
Thank you.
My name is Stephanie Marquardt. I live at 486 Lakeshore Drive in Hewitt. I'm not here to speak about school closing. I'm here tonight to speak about the resignations on this evening's agenda. It is both sad and angering to see the resignations that are on this agenda and that we have seen on previous agendas in the past year. We are losing dedicated educators and staff members at an alarming rate. While we have heard about the impact that COVID-19 and other factors have played in these resignations, I think the time has come to stop making excuses and look at the actual reasons behind the great resignation trend in West Milford. For those of you that do not know me, I worked at the West Milford High School as the principal's secretary for 10 years. I resigned in February this year. I left my job where I loved the people I worked with. I adored the students that I interacted with and planned to spend the rest of my working days. Over the past 10 years, there was never a question that I would retire from West Milford. The only question was from what position. I was so inspired by the staff and students that I had the opportunity to work with that I went back to school to continue my education and advance myself in this district. Unfortunately, over the last 5 years, the district has become something and somewhere that at times was unbearable to be in. Under our current superintendent, the staff has been subjected to retaliatory and tyrannical behavior. I experienced this behavior firsthand, but fortunately for me, I was able to move on to another district where I'm respected and enjoy my job. This would be the end to that chapter of my life if it wasn't for the fact that I live in West Milford and my children go to school here. The decay of our district is frightening and infuriating. Before I left, I watched as staff members who used to walk into the building every day with smiles on their faces just try their best to make it through another day. There is little to no focus on academics coming from the superintendent's office. Almost every tweet that comes out from that office is in celebration of athletics. In all of our schools, events happen monthly that celebrate academia for our children, and they are never talked about. A perfect example of this would be our summer literacy program that took place this year. I knew very little about this program prior to my son entering it, and I was concerned, given his special ed classification, whether or not this was the right program for him. But boy, was I surprised when I saw the difference from July to August in his ability to write in his journal. The work that the teachers did with him during summer literacy was absolutely amazing, and yet we heard nothing about it. Fortunately, we were able to be kept informed about the paving of the dirt parking lot over by Macapin, the replacement of the Kilgallen infield, and a new fence that was put up here at Westbrook. While it is great to hear about our athletics, we have a fantastic athletic director who does a wonderful job, along with our coaches, of keeping the public informed regarding athletics. We, the taxpayers of West Milford, deserve better, but the people who truly deserve better are our children. When a business has a bad CEO, it can make up for lost earnings in subsequent quarters. In education, when there's bad leadership, when the children lose, they never get it back. We have to do better, and in order to do better, we have to make sure that the district is being led in the right direction. To do that, we have to have a strong leader. Unfortunately, I do not believe that is what we have right now. The superintendent works at the pleasure of the taxpayers of West Milford, and we demand more. We demand better for our children, and in order for our children to receive the best educational experience they can, we demand that the staff in our schools are treated with respect. Failure in a school district starts at the top. People do not leave bad jobs, they leave bad leadership, and that is what we are seeing here. If you wish to remain the superintendent of West Milford, we demand that you do better. If you are unwilling or unable, then it's time for you to move on and allow a superintendent who will do the job right to come to West Milford. Because after 6 years, you just do not embody what it is to be a Highlander. Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to speak? Will?
Will Sidewitz, I didn't move. So, I'd like to make a comment about the board goals. I hope that the increased partnerships and engaging advocacy at the state level to restore district funding includes speaking to those county commissioners of ours often and discussing with them how they are handicapping school districts within the county by not only taking more of the district's money to support the programs at BCTI, but also taking the county dollars to do the same again. And also, again, I am in favor of Operations and Finance number 4 for the Haver study for redistricting. And other than that, I hope everybody has a great night.
Good night. Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak?
Seeing none, I'd like to close public comments.
So all those in favor?
No, you need a second.
I need a second. See? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
All right, before we adopt the agenda, I'd like to make 2 changes. Page 9, Personnel Student Affairs Resolution number 21 is going to be amended. The step is going to be changed to 7, and the salary is going to be changed to 27,818. That was an error. And on page 17, we'd like to pull Operations and Finance number 1 for further examination.
Page 17.
Page 17, Operations and Finance number 1.
I need a motion to adopt the agenda spread before us.
Motion to adopt the agenda is presented.
Second.
Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Education. Debbie, Claire, will you take that? You're on education.
I make a motion to approve the following agenda items, number 1 through 4.
Second.
Any discussion? If not, I need a motion oh, you have some, I didn't see you. You're not here tonight. I'm having problems here. Go ahead. Yeah, what's the discussion on here?
I'm sorry, what?
Oh, I was asking about discussion. Did you have something?
No.
Oh, okay, okay. Roll call, Mrs. Francisca? Oh, okay.
Mr. Guarino.
Yes.
Mrs. Stevenson.
Yes.
Mrs. Lockwood.
Yes.
Mrs. Romeo.
Yes.
Mr. Conklin.
Yes.
Mrs. O'Brien.
Yes.
Mrs. Van Dyke.
Yes. Personnel, Student Affairs, Mr. Green.
Both please. I'd like to make a motion to move items 1 through 54 under personnel and student affairs.
Second.
Any discussion? Courtney?
I just would like to say how sorry I am to see Mr. Citro go. He was an absolute wonderful leader, and I wish him all the best of luck in his new endeavors.
Still is.
Yeah.
He still is a wonderful leader.
Just somewhere else. Just somewhere else.
Just leading somewhere else.
Just leading somewhere else.
Thank you, Mr.
So I can get that on.
Did you have something, Mr. Green?
Yes. I wanted to say the same thing. Echo Courtney's, Art, thanks for all your time here. You embody what it is to be a Highlander through and through. That's a hard loss for all of us. So.
Extremely.
But congratulations on your new gig and for being a consummate professional throughout your entire teaching career here in West Milford. Good luck.
Anyone else? Debbie?
I'm going to piggyback on that, but I just want to tell a really brief story about our dear Mr. Citro. So earlier this year, we got a tour of Macapin School, and he was there to take us around. And this man knew every single person in that school, number one. Hi. Hey, Joe, how you doing? Hey, you know, and if there was a kid that was having a problem, oh, you know, he stopped and he talked to the student. And I swear this man must have had eyes all over his head because he just was like, you know, going bebopping back and forth. There was garbage on the ground. He stopped where everybody else walked by, adults, myself. He stopped and he picked it up. He was concerned about everything in that building. He was the embodiment of Macapin School. To say that I am sad is an understatement. And a little confession here, I kind of like just kind of closed up shop for 3 days and stayed home because I was devastated. Macapin has always been, no disregard because I know we have a elementary school principal in the audience. Yeah, two of them? Where? Oh, look, you know, you can't get my peripheral, but I don't have But Macapin changed my kid's life. And my kids are 31 and 28. And I'm so glad, I know we're going to talk about Mary in a minute, but I'm so glad Mary's back because she's the male version of Mr. Citro.
Female.
She's taller too. I'm going to stop talking. But I just want to say, I would love to have Macapin back in its prime once again. Thank you. Sorry, Mrs. Miller. Sorry, Mary. Anyone else? I went in to see Mark and I broke down crying. The thought of him not being in that building to me is so sad because, I mean, I've known him since he was a teacher there. And it is such a great loss for our community and for our school district. I don't know how else to say it other than I wish him well. But I'm so angry that he left us because it's a building that is so important because it kind of gives our kids their path, you know, and it shows them what it's like to kind of have that responsibility but not have that responsibility because people there, you know, the staff cares. Not that they don't care in every building, they do, but it's a loss. It's a big loss for our district. I'm very happy that Mary is coming because she trained Mark, so who better than to fill those shoes? And we welcome her because there's a task before her, but I know she can handle it, and I'm so thankful for it. I'm sad. I hate to say this. Well, I don't hate to say it. I have to say it. I am sad looking at this agenda. I see too many people leaving us, and it bothers me. And I don't know what to do. And I pray that they continue, that we keep who's left. Because this district has always worked together, and it saddens me. It really does. I hope that this is a turning point for us and that things get better. And I'm thankful for the people who are here. But I will say we will miss Mark, and you know, I'm going to leave it at that. Right?
So now I'll move on to number 2 now.
I hope you do better than chocolate.
And you know, I thought that she was truly enjoying her retirement, but yeah, I think a Highlander through and through, and somebody who cares about our school district, and I appreciate her coming back as an interim principal, and I think I will put words in Mark's mouth, and I know Mark will say, you know, he is who he is because of Fred Johnson and Danny King and Mary Reinhold, and where were all those people, right? They were in Mackinnon, so.
The country club. Everybody wants to be there.
Mike calls it Disney World.
It's like Disney World, nothing to worry about. Never anything to worry about.
Kate?
Ditto to everything that everyone said so far, but I just want to say from a parent perspective, sharing with my child that Mark was leaving was very difficult. But being able to say, the woman who trained him is going to come back, had major relief. So thank you for whoever thought of this idea or whoever communicated it and whatever. So I know Macapin is a gem, and it is a very important part of a time in a child's life, you know, and I know that our teaching staff at Macapin needs a lot of love. I love you guys, you know, and I'm glad that Mary's coming to like just bring back to, and everybody rebuilds and not rebuild, we're still there, but just love one another and work together and have that great thing. But you know, thank you for having Mary on the agenda. You know, I'm in a different boat because I still get to work with Mark, but that's totally different. So, you know, I'm in a different, you know, way, but no, I'm really, really
So it's your
sad.
fault.
It isn't my fault. I still to this day have not spoken to him for the reasons of I knew I was going to cry too. So I'll wait to see him at work, and it'll be a different part of everybody's life, you know, and things change and we pick up and move on and you know. But anyway, just wanted to say, as a parent, that conversation was very, very hard. But then to back it up 2 weeks later with, you know, the part about Mary coming really helped, you know, and I hope a lot of other parents out there, if they didn't know that Mary trained Mark, they can say that now to their kids too, you know. So thank you for all of that.
I just look forward, Mary. We're very happy to have you back, and the 6th grade challenge is there for you.
Yes.
And it's their first un-COVID year. So we're looking forward to seeing how everybody develops over there. And we have, believe me, everyone around this table has a lot of faith and trust in you.
I have an interesting Mary story. It refers to
We are on
6th grade.
TV.
So I happen to be on the interview committee, which is weird because I always look to her as a mentor. I was on the interview committee when she was hired at Macapin, and one of the things she always wished she could see was 6th graders at the Macapin school. So, you know, settling some old debts.
In a month from now, we're going to meet and see how happy our 6th graders
Yeah, I was going to say that too. Mary was on the committee that I was on for moving the 6th grade, and I remember, this is not a quote, but I remember her saying something along the lines to me, like, Kate, this should have been done years ago, the school's ready for it, they've been ready for it, and when my husband said to me, well, you know, Mrs. Reinhold wasn't there with 6th graders, is she gonna like that? And I was like, I'm pretty sure she's always been at that, you know? I said, I don't know for sure, but she said something in our committee, so that, you know, I was glad that she was on the committee for that.
Thank you. Ray, you have something yet?
Enough about Mrs. Reinhold. She's probably thinking about it.
gone. She's gone.
So number 50 about the Macapin school student activity. So I just went through that list. There's like 7 things that I know both my boys would probably be interested in. So if my boys were joining those 7 things, chess, flag football, field hockey, weightlifting, floor hockey, robotics, does that mean that I would pay $210 for them to join those? But if they're in the high school, I pay $75
last year.
But if I'm in the high school, I pay $75. Wait, that like if I'm
And it's not
Yeah.
just one time.
We were talking about this in committee the other night, and, you the long-term goal is to look at this in greater detail, to maybe marry the Mackin 6-8 activities with the high school 9-12, have that fee be similar in both buildings.
But this year, I'm gonna pay $210 for my,
We actually reduced the cost because it was recommended for a higher cost, and we reduced it.
Did all 7, sure. Yeah, a lot. So that's something we'll definitely look at policy for
We're also,
in the future.
we're also tracking the number of students that attend each club and the money that comes in so that we can determine whether or not it actually covers the cost of the club advisor. So we'll have that information as we move forward through the school year.
So that money's supposed to cover the fee of the advisor?
Yes.
so can I ask, can you get us, since you're gonna track that, I think it'd be good to also track some of the high school clubs specifically also, just to see how many, right, so we just wanna make sure. What's that?
The enrollment numbers?
Yeah, so like, there's a chess club in the high school. How many are doing the chess club in the high school?
Do you think like a parallel tracking?
So, yeah, so it'd be good to see the difference, and if, maybe if there is a chess club in Mackin and a chess club in the high school, maybe they can do them at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, again, we're talking about campus, right? It is a like, maybe that's an opportunity, and that could potentially be a way to save.
Any other discussion on the motion? If not, roll call.
Mr. Guarino?
Yes.
Mrs. O'Brien?
I'm sad for number 1, I'm very glad for number 2. No for 21, no for 52. Yes for the rest.
Mrs. Stevenson?
Yes.
Mrs. Lockwood?
Yes.
Mrs. Romeo?
Yes, I have to abstain on 52. Yes on everything else.
Mr. Conklin?
Yes.
Mrs. Van Dyke?
No on 29, and yes on everything. Mr. Stillman's not here. Mike?
I'm gonna invite Mrs.
Oh, yeah, oh, yes, I'm sorry, yes.
Mrs. Reinhold, congratulations, welcome back.
Thank you.
If you would,
Thank you.
mind, come up just a couple of words. We all miss you.
Well, a lot of you have seen this before. And we're back. So, Liz, you know the story. I so appreciate your support, but Mark is a great loss. And, I hope I can fill his shoes now. But I love the Mackin staff. I look forward to embracing the 6th grade staff, which I know most of them actually anyway, because I was in the district for so many years. When I thought about that, I started in Mackin School in 1978. Many of you don't even remember that year. And 44 years later, I never thought I'd be standing here saying, thank you for bringing me back. But I had 6 great years when I was laying on the beach celebrating my 40th wedding anniversary in Maui. I didn't think I'd be here tonight, but I am, and I'm looking forward to it, and I appreciate your support, and I look forward to working with our administration and all of you, and I just thank you very much.
Welcome back. Okay, Mike, I'm going to let you do operations and finance, if you don't mind.
Items 1 through...
1 has been pulled.
1, okay, 2 through 12.
We should probably table 10 until after exec session.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. Yeah, wait a minute. And what?
Yes, table.
I'll make a motion to table 10.
Second.
Oh, yeah, we don't have to table, we could just not move it. Can you do that?
Sorry, 2 to 9, 11, 18.
2, 9, 11, 18.
Second.
Any discussion on items under operations and finance?
All right,
You have
so-
something?
Yeah. So number 4, that's essentially, Barbara, we'd be hiring Ross Heber to tell us which kids would go to what school. Is basically what he would do.
Yeah, to give you the, to do the GIS so that you can determine where the clusters are and how to disperse the students.
Into the next step.
So I thought I heard that our transportation department really kind of already had that done.
They've done something.
Yeah.
That's what we have. But I think that it would be beneficial for the community to have the expertise of the software. Our software didn't do it. They did it basically by where the housing clusters are and the students that they're currently transporting.
So he puts it into a program?
There's a program.
All right.
See, last,
And then he can, so I think I heard him say, right, he could show you scenarios of how things would work. So there might not just be one thing that he could present a few different scenarios to see what would be most beneficial, what would be where we could potentially save the most dollars from transportation
Those
costs.
transportation costs are going to figure into the savings,
Right.
absolutely.
And he's gonna be able to give us those things to tell us the transportation savings?
I can't tell you what exactly he's going to give us, but I think that whatever he does give us is going to be an objective look at what needs to be accomplished.
and I think it's good to have that outside source looking at it, not, you know, it really is.
Hey, that's how I felt all
you know.
along. But he didn't just tell us anything that our administration didn't tell me prior. So now I'm thinking, do I want to spend another $9,000 when I didn't, where I
think
pushed
it's in the
to get
realm
the
of
last
all
2
of this.
studies, as you know, and I know that I was a thorn. I know I was a thorn. I pushed for those studies, and I don't see anything in that study that you guys didn't already tell me. So now I'm like, really? Now we're
But I think in this day and
community wants to
age,
hear
you have
from
to follow
someone
the data, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that,
Yeah.
that's Dan's buzzword, right? Follow the data. So we have to follow. So we have to follow it, and I think we owe it to the community to have a third party doing this, so that.
I understand that part.
Because having been part of the last one, there was a lot of rumors, a lot of talk
Yeah.
about how they cut the lines wrong, and this one went here, and this one went there. So I think this is, in my opinion, everybody, but if you were to ask me, that's where I would be saying it's the right thing. So, any other questions under operations and finance? All right, Barbara? Roll call.
Mrs. Stevenson.
Yes.
Mrs. Lockwood.
Yes.
Mr. Greeno.
Yes.
Mrs. O'Brien.
No on 2, yes on the rest. I don't know.
Mr. Conklin.
Yes.
Mrs. Romeo.
yes.
Mrs. Van Dyke.
No on 2, yes on the rest. Okay, Mike, you, next one, 13.
We just passed,
You just passed on.
we just passed the old one.
Who abstained on payroll? Yeah.
Kate,
Oh,
That's your one.
oh, I didn't catch it
I
either.
didn't catch it either.
So,
I don't have an issue this month. So I didn't.
Summer.
Yeah, no one in my, it's
well,
12 months
no one-
employees.
It's
so-
okay.
You're welcome.
I guess it's okay. All right,
What number was
Now-
that?
So it's item 13
13.
on the agenda.
and that's for
We're gonna approve
payroll.
that, right? For payroll.
you said 13 was approved already.
Yeah, we just voted on 2 for the.
Voted on 2 for 9 and
So we voted on
everything,
everything.
right?
I mean, I guess I double
Even
check that.
the next one here?
Not really, there's some time on
Everything,
employees.
okay. You're good, Mike, you're done. Courtney, policy.
1 through 20, I'd like to make a motion to approve 1 through 26 underneath policy.
Second.
Any discussion? If not, roll call?
Mrs. Stevenson?
Yes.
Mrs. O'Brien?
Yes.
Mrs. Romeo?
Yes.
Mr. Conklin?
Yes.
Mrs. Lockwood?
Yes.
Mr. Guarino?
Yes.
Mrs. Van Dyke?
Yes.
Committees. Okay. Parks and Rec. Did they happen to have a meeting this month, Mike, do you know? Parks and
No,
Recreation?
there was nothing.
Okay. Safety, we had no meeting, summer. Superintendent roundtable, no meetings. Do we know, do we have any set up
I
for?
think they're on the calendar already.
Oh, okay, I have to look.
September 22nd.
Oh, okay. The state county school boards, the meetings don't start until September. New Jersey school boards, we were fortunate enough to have Kathy Heller here with us to do our goal setting, which the goals were on the agenda. I think the meeting went well, and, you know, moving forward, I don't know, I know that everything is starting to go back to in-person with New Jersey school boards. If anybody here has not completed their requirements, they should make sure that they do that before, as soon as possible. I'm not going to say before the end of the year. Legislative, Mrs. O'Brien.
For once in my life, I have nothing much to say. So September should bring a lot of fun to the legislative committee. Thank you.
You were there for technology.
Yes, I was. I'm sure the committee was glad to have me. The website is supposed to launch next week. Next week or this week? What's the date? I thought you said the 25th or something. No?
I think it'll definitely be up by the 31st.
Robert?
Yes, 31st.
It's not launching till the 31st?
Correct.
Okay. The new website is going to launch on the 31st, so hopefully in time for everybody to be back in school. The phone systems, everything's going well. Everybody's good. I'm trying to think of what else was there. I think that's it. That was all that we had.
Windows, the phone system in?
Everything, there was one school yet that had to have something done, but everything should be
Reporting the accounts over right now. Staffers been getting emails from
There's a lot
our
of
provider.
components.
Robert, would you like to give the board the update?
Yeah,
Sure.
maybe you'd be better at it than I do.
As Dr. Anamon is saying, there's a lot of moving parts to the phone system. We have all of the equipment, all the phones are in. We have all of the networking that we required to have done to be prepared and done. We've had network configuration all done. We've had we did some testing, quality of voice over our network test, and that passed in all cases. What we're doing right now is we've created our dial plan. We've identified all the locations that are going to have the phones. We're in the process of programming the back end right now. So every person every teacher is going to get an extension on the phone system, whether or not they actually have a physical phone. And I'll give you an example. In an elementary school, a teacher is in a particular classroom, typically for the year. But at the middle school or high school, that room could have 4 or 5 teachers during the course of the day. So in those situations, the phone is the extension for the room, and in those cases, the itinerant, or not, I shouldn't say itinerant, but teachers will have their own extension with the Zoom phone account, which means that their cell phone can be used for calls on the network, so to speak. So if they call a parent on their cell phone, it goes over our network, and the caller ID for the call going to the parent is the caller ID of the school. It's also nice for a teacher that teacher's out in the field. Their extension calls them out there with their cell phone. Let's see what other things there is.
The Chromebooks.
Yes.
That was the other topic.
Yeah, all of our Chromebooks are in. We were lucky enough to get our order in early before we got nailed with all of the issues with the supply chain. So all of the Chromebooks are in. We're distributing them right now to all the buildings. Just completed today the distribution sheet that the principals in all the buildings use to identify which child has gotten which particular Chromebook.
And there was the Chromebook, was it sent to all the board
Yes,
members to break down?
All the board members got a copy of the diagram, of how the distribution works when they're collected in the lower grades and repurposed.
Because new is 5 and 9.
And grade 1.
And grade 1. Those are who gets all the new Chromebooks. It should be, you know, there's a diagram that shows you how it works. Because the others carry their Chromebooks through with them. Kindergarten doesn't get new ones, they get the ones pushed, you know, the older ones.
Kindergarten will get the Chromebooks that come from grade 8.
Oh, 8, yeah.
Right. Grade 5 goes to, actually, I think it's grade 5 goes to kindergarten. Right. Grade 8 goes to first grade.
And Ray, I don't know if you heard, the website will launch on the 31st.
31st. And date was
Seniors. Yeah. Does anybody, anything else for technology? The township and the board, we met on Friday, the 19th. There was some discussion. We were thankful for the SRO officers. We spoke with the mayor and we appreciate that, and that's a good thing for the schools. We're going to have an SRO officer for the district, but he will be housed in the high school, correct? Or she?
He or she.
Yeah.
He has the high school. We've got space for that person there, but they will service all our schools. Just be some time for that as well.
I don't remember what we talked about.
Will they go to the Highlands Academy as well?
Yeah, all 8 schools plus Highlander.
Talked about the next Operations and Finance Committee meeting where
Right. We were going to try to have
invite the administrator and the mayor.
some discussions with the mayor and council through committee so that all of us can kind of flow through there without having a, you know, regular meeting, but to answer some questions about different things that are going on in the community. All right. West Milford Municipal Alliance.
There's no meetings in the summer. The next WMMA meeting is on Monday, September 12th at 7 p.m. in the West Milford Library Conference Room on the 2nd floor. The meeting will be hybrid. Everyone is welcome, and if you wish to attend, you can send a request to wmma@westmilford.org. On Saturday, September 24th, from 10 to 2, there will be a Wellness Family Festival at Macapin School. There will be kids activities, an obstacle course, meditation, yoga, Reiki, education resources, a DJ, and so much more. This event has been organized by the Highlands Family Success Center, West Milford Health Advisory Board, and the WMMA. Fun for everyone, and it's free.
I think I'm going to sound dumb here. What is Reiki?
Reiki is energy healing.
Oh, okay. I thought it was a game. I didn't know. You know, it sounded like it would fit. You know,
It's a little bit like that, like backwater.
Oh, it's not like that. No, I get it. Just let me believe what I believe. Okay, old business. Oh, CPAC, I missed it, I'm sorry.
There is a virtual meeting this Thursday, the 25th at 7 p.m. and it's only virtual.
Oh.
Just for this month.
Just for this month, not every day.
This Thursday, you said?
Yes. And I guess I cannot attend, so if any other board member would like to attend.
What time?
You can't attend either.
We have negotiations on
We have a
Thursday.
negotiations meeting.
So I normally attend, and I have a work meeting on Thursday night. So I don't know that I'm gonna make it either, so it sounds
I will
great
try to.
to you guys. I'm gonna try to get there late.
Well, it's virtual, so you can...
I know, my work virtual meeting starts at 6.
Oh.
Yours starts, yeah, at 7, so I might make it at 7:30, but I might not make it at all, I don't know.
I'm sure.
I'll try to.
Yeah, if Courtney goes, that's good.
Virtual, I can do
You
that.
can do virtual.
I can be Ubering children around.
It's also a
virtually.
call-in, if you want to just...
Perfect, I'll do that.
I'll send it to you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Old business? Anybody have anything for old business?
Seeing none, like to close old business.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. New business? Debbie?
Okay, I just want to do a nice little shout out to our schools' PTAs, PTOs, and PTSOs. I believe they're the unsung heroes of our district. They do a phenomenal job in all our schools with our students, with activities supporting the teachers. I'm amazed at all the things they do. I've met many of these wonderful volunteers over the years, and I really would like the community to come out and support them in any way that they can, whether it's through fundraising or activities, that kind of stuff. A special shout out, and I can't say any favorites because I have 2 principals here in the audience, to Upper Greenwood Lake
Three now.
Three.
Because we approved.
Yeah, I'm done. No, I have to say this. I do have to say this. So now that I feel kind of reddish and embarrassed. Mary, I call her, I don't want me. To Upper Greenwood Lake, Upper Greenwood Lake PTA, because whatever they did, and forgive me, I'm not tech savvy, so through either Twitter or Instagram or Facebook or one of those wonderful programs, they set up their PTA sign up online. So I am now an official member of the Upper Greenwood Lake PTA. But I would like to try to be members of all of these PTAs, PTOs, PTSOs. And also for the high school, please support the athletics, the arts, the theater, the clubs in any way, help the, just let's all kind of do a kumbaya and help each other out. And that's, other than embarrassing the stuffings out of myself for the night. It comes from the heart.
Thank you, Deb. Does anybody else have anything for new business?
I do. Although it was reported already, I heard the technology report that everyone's getting extensions that could go to their cell phones. So if it was people that had current extensions, do they get to keep those? Or now are we having to change all of our...
You have to ask Robert. He's the one that, he's working with Zoom and the other service to create everything. I'm not quite sure if these extensions are going to be the same or not.
Is it possible to keep the same extensions, you know?
Actually, we did our best to try and keep the extensions the way they were, but there was a couple of factors that were involved. Number one is we tried to have uniformity on the extensions. So a classroom, we'd like the room number to be a part of the extension and make it natural. Then what we also wanted to do is have uniformity across the district. So all of the nurses, whatever the first 2 digits, the last 2 digits of it will end in 40. Principals end in 50. And lines end in 45. So there's uniformity across the board. Departments have also similar groups of extensions. And because of the fact that we added quite a few extensions, we added like a couple hundred additional lines, a couple hundred extensions. It was very difficult to maintain the existing lines and the existing extensions. So there is going to be a little bit of a transition, but it's going to be a short transition. I think everybody will find that the new numbering sequences.
Well, it could also cost money. I mean, if we're talking about new letterhead with new extensions and new business cards for people that like our school counselors hand out business cards. Our colleges have, I would really hope that could be looked at, that some of the very important offices could keep the extensions.
We'll do our best. I don't anticipate a huge cost with their letterhead and business cards.
Most of that-
It could be a cost, but probably not a large cost, I don't think. I think most teachers have
most of that
business
printing.
cards.
I'm not talking about teachers, I mean offices, like, you know, you have, the high school has letterhead. They write letters of recommendation, over hundreds of them every year that go out to colleges.
We do that in-house.
You print the paper in-house? Okay.
That we do, yes, we do for the, Courtney?
I think I know the answer to this already, but is there a two-factor authentication over the West Milford network
For access to what?
to the network?
Two-factor authentication to access.
So teachers, if you're asking them to use their cell phones, or anybody, they're then exposing anything that's on their cell phone
No.
into the network,
No, not at all.
unless there's a two-factor authentication.
That's not the case. They're running an app on their phone, so they're not actually, they're not attaching to our network, they're just connecting over the internet. Zoom Phone is a cloud-based solution. So they would connect to any, it's basically, they can connect to any website. It's the same exposure. So they're not exposing any of their personal information to.
Is there any talk about putting two-factor authentication over the network to make it less of a cyber attack for our district?
Well, let me do some research into that. Thank you for your.
I'll give you an app.
Mr. Garino?
Two things. One, how's the public going to find out the extension of their teacher? The second thing is, so if a teacher moves, or somebody, right, a principal moves from one school to another, I mean, typically with these, like I know where Brian, the line follows the person to make it easy. Does the line follow the person?
It depends. If an extension is to a function, for example, the extension to my office, it doesn't matter who's sitting in my seat, whoever's the supervisor of technology, that extension doesn't change. If you're a teacher though, and you are working in Macapan, and then next year you're going to move to the high school, your extension doesn't change. So,
That's what I'm asking.
yes.
So your extension stays the same no matter where you go?
Correct. And the way that we designed it was just for that.
Perfect.
Because this way, if with teachers moving from classroom to classroom, if they have to change their extension every single year, it would be.
How will they know the teacher's extensions? I'm guessing online. You'll see it on the website?
Yeah, there'll be information on the website, so when a parent looks up a teacher, then your extension.
I can share that out.
Okay.
The one thing I do really like about this is that the
Yeah.
teachers that are utilizing their cell phones are not sending their cell phone numbers to everyone. Kate, did you have something?
I did, but I decided to not say it. Thank you.
Any other new business?
Motion to close new business?
Second. All those in favor? Aye. Public comment. Okay. This portion of the meeting is open to members of the public having a legitimate interest in the actions of the board for the purpose of addressing any subject matter pertinent to and/or directly related to the operations of the West Milford Public School District. Members of the public who have requested to speak prior to the meeting will be recognized by the chair first. Each speaker will be given 5 minutes for a period of 30 minutes, and then time permitting other public comment limited to 5 minutes per speaker will be allowed until the 30-minute time period transpires. All speakers are asked to sign the register provided and give the full name, spell their last name, group affiliation if appropriate, and provide their address. Issues raised by the members of the public may or may not be responded to by the board. All comments will be considered and a response will be forthcoming if and when appropriate. The board asks that members of the public be courteous and respectful of the rights of other individuals when speaking. Specifically, comments regarding students and employees of the board are discouraged, and the board and the administration will not respond to them. Students and employees have specific legal rights afforded to them by the laws of New Jersey, and the board is not responsible and not liable for any comments made by members of the public. Members of the public should consider their comments in the light of the legal rights of those affected or identified in those comments. Members of the public are reminded they are legally responsible and liable for their comments. Anyone wishing to speak under public comment? You? Okay. Wow.
Just when you move that camera.
It all.
You want to move that camera, Nate?
I got it. I think I got it. I'll take a moment. Nathan Bedford, 47 Lakeside Road, Hewitt, New Jersey. Just wanted to talk about an event that I have coming up at the Long Pond Ironworks State Park. If I'm not doing the video work for the Township of West Milford, I am also the captain of a local Civil War reenactment group. We have an event coming up, the Civil War weekend at Long Pond Ironworks. That's at 1334 Greenwood Lake Turnpike in Hewitt, New Jersey, on September 10th and 11th from 10 a.m. till 4 p.m. Tickets are $5 for adults, $1 for children. Donations are accepted, and you can get in for free if you want to join as members of the Friends of Long Pond Ironworks. I'm also a board member and the event coordinator for the Friends of Long Pond Ironworks. Saturday night, September 10th at 8 p.m., there is a candle lantern tour of the site featuring the West Milford Players. They will be performing as villagers of the town of what was known as Hewitt back then. It was an old company town and fire ironworks during the Revolutionary War and American Civil War. Tickets are on sale for reservations. Call 973-657-1688. You can find more information at longpondironworks.org. And again, the Candle Lantern Tour is a big draw because it's the West Milford Players plus the 6 New Hampshire Contraband Music performance at the barn. That's 8 p.m. Saturday 10th. Adults $10, children $5. We ask that no children under 10 years old, just for safety and the fact that it can get pretty scary because we do fire off our guns. And speaking of which, I would not be remiss because one of the people that will be there is the 6th New York Independent Battery, which bring an original cannon from the Civil War, so kids get to learn how to fire off a cannon. Along with our military demonstrations by my unit, 6th Regiment, New Hampshire.
I have to say, I have some grandsons that really are going to want to, because they just saw a musket thing that was like phenomenal, so they're going to want to see that cannon. There's no
I can
doubt
tell
about
you
it.
last year on Sunday, there was a lot of people that went to the cannon rather than stop by our because they just wanted to see the bigger boom.
Oh, yeah. Oh, this is great. Thank you. Thank you.
Since there's a lot of, teachers and principals here, and also I'll forward you the information.
Yeah, I can put it on our community backpacks.
Oh,
It'd be
good,
great
great.
for all the history students and those who are interested in history. And that's also why it is to also keep the history alive.
Nate, you are a man of many talents. Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak?
Motion to close public comments?
Second. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? We need a motion to go into executive session, but we will be returning because we are going to be taking action.
At 9:08, I'll need a motion to go into executive session for 30 minutes.
30 minutes, good. Let's take 30 minutes just in case. Okay. We can come back.
Second.
All the, do I have to do a roll call? I need to, no, wait.
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we will be there. I'd like to call the meeting back to order. Roll call, Barb, please.
Mrs. Romeo?
Here.
Mrs. Stevenson?
Here.
Mrs. O'Brien?
Here.
Mr. Guarino?
Here.
Mrs. Lockwood?
Here.
Mr. Conklin?
Here.
Mrs. Van Dyke?
Here. Okay, Mr. Conklin.
Number 10.
Item number 10.
O&P.
Under Operation Finance. I'd like to
Operation Finance.
Move number 10. We need a second.
Second.
Any discussion? If not, roll call, please.
Mr. Conklin?
Yes.
Mr. Greeno?
Yes.
Mrs. Lockwood?
Yes.
Mrs. O'Brien?
Yes.
Mrs. Romeo?
Yes.
Mrs. Stevenson?
Yes.
Mrs. Van Dyke?
Yes.
Motion to adjourn at 9:44.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Good night. Have a good
Aye,
night.
aye.